Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I have a subscriber who comes to us from Maryland but wants to share her experiences as a child, teenager in Pennsylvania. Before we get into that, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The PayPal and Patreon are in the description below. My merch is displayed underneath the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, and the links to which are also in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? All right, guys, today's subscriber, her name is Casey, and she is going to share her encounters with us as a child teenager. And the picture that you are seeing of the Dogman is a picture that she captured. Also, she's got some other pictures and on her Instagram, which I will link in the description below as well. All right, everybody, tonight I have a guest from Maryland who had sent me an encounter. I had narrated it a little while back, and she's got a couple other encounters. Tonight is Casey's turn to talk on the mic. Casey, how are you?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for taking some time out of your evening to share your encounters with us. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and you can share your encounters.
All right, sounds good. All right, so I grew up on the Maryland, Maryland and PA Mason-Dixon line, and back in where I lived, it was nothing but woods, cornfields, and I mean, seriously, at night it was pitch black. It was terrifying. I mean, when I was young, I really didn't have much fear. I mean, I had two dogs, and they were half wolf, which was awesome. Their names were Jasmine and Angel, and one was at the top of the house, and one was at the bottom of the house, and they protected each side of the house. And I don't know how we acquired them. I know it's not legal to own them, but they're far gone now, unfortunately. But they were the best guard dogs you could ever imagine. And they howled like regular wolves, but they also had a good bit of German Shepherd in them, which kept them a little more tame too. So that was nice.
Right.
But what I was getting at is they would react to certain things around the property too. Unfortunately, we did not have them when these encounters happened. But my whole life I was like around them and other dogs. So I mean, I know what my animals look like. I know what wildlife looks like. I went hunting with my grandfather when I was little. We used to hunt bow, and it was just long bow. It wasn't even compound. And then I went to just a regular hunting rifle, and then I kind of stopped after that. I just didn't really feel it anymore. So I mean, my grandfather, he used to make his own like duck calls, I don't know, all kinds of calls, and like bobcat, and he was good at it, and it sounded exactly like the animal. And so I mean, he taught me tracks. He taught me how to like, identify tracks, and if I heard a wild animal out when I was out and about, what it was, and not to panic, and how to deal with that animal if it comes up on me, if it is a predator. I mean, he was great for that. And every year he would not go without getting a deer. I mean, never. And actually, both my grandparents are like that. My dad's father, his whole living room is lined with deer heads and I mean squirrels, everything you could think of. And so yeah, I was outdoorsy when I was little, and even when I grew up as a young adult. Our fun was seriously me and my sister. We were identical twins. We would go out in the woods, and we weren't allowed inside during the day. My mom had this fenced in green fence. It was like almost like the whole backyard. I sent Jeff a picture of like an aerial view. I don't know if he has it or not, but it's like all like behind my mom's house, so I can paint a picture for you guys. It was all cornfield, and to the right was a huge patch of woods. It was small, and then it kind of led off into a huge patch of woods. It just kept going. And then across the street was a lot more woods, but they were narrow in the beginning, and they just kept going back and back and back for miles and miles. I mean, I don't even know how far they went back. And rumor back in the day in Delta, Pennsylvania, um, there was where we lived. There used to be an old farmhouse, and they said that lots of, I don't know if this is true or not, but they said there was black magic that was practiced there, and we always had lots of weird things happen. That's another story, but it was just always on the edge of your seat, listening for weird sounds. We've had feral, like, out of, this is hard to believe, but this is honest God truth. My friend Jess was over. This is not a Dogman encounter. I'll make it short and sweet. But they were sitting on the couch, and we always had our windows open or a window fan in it. But this time, it was, the screen was, we didn't have no screens because we had cats and they scratched them all up and whatnot. So it was just an open window. And if I didn't say, we lived by Lancaster County, so we were around lots and lots of Amish people. Honest to God, on Sundays, you would see more Amish buggies than you would cars, and that's just the honest God truth. And so, well, to get back on that, it was like a weekend. My best friend Jess was there. She also was the one that saw my first encounter that you guys heard Jeff read, but I'll be counting that. They were sitting on a couch, her and her boyfriend, and she said she looked over and she saw this hand on her boyfriend's shoulder, and it looked like this grayish, like dead skinned looking hand on his shoulder. And she said that he looked down and she kind of looked over at the same time and like made this expression that he saw, and it freaked him out. He realized where she was looking, down her shoulder. He looked down, realized that wasn't her hand, and she said, and this is her words, "I've never seen a white boy jump so high." And I was like, oh my God. And she said that when she looked outside, there was, and I caught the tail end of it, but all I saw was, I didn't see the hand. What I did see, though, because she screamed my name, she's like, Casey, get in here, was this person. It looked like an Amish man. I can't say for sure. He had like stirrups on, black, and a black hat. And he was like laughing like maniacally, I guess would be the right word, and running full speed down our front yard, which was pretty far. And just, he like hurdled our porch, and it was like off the ground, like a good 6 feet. So he hurdled the lattice railway going around the porch, like, the railing, and he just started running to the front yard. And that's like just one of the weirdnesses, along with many others. And then it happened again one time when it was just me, my mom and my little sister living there, and they heard the window fan be pushed in, and they heard it hit the ground. And there was, Katrina went out by herself. She was only, mind you, like 11 years old at the time. And she sees this scraggly, sickly, skinny looking Amish man straddling the fallen fan on the ground and just looking at her with this like creepy ass grin on his face. And she said he did like almost the same exact thing. Jumped out the window, but it was like head first. He like dove out the window, and this time he hurdled the railing again, but he ran to the right this time, and into the woods, and he was laughing again. So I don't know what's up with that guy, but anyway, that's something that's not supernatural. I don't think. I mean, it could be, but I'm pretty sure he was like a flesh and blood kind of person. um, but we've had a lot of paranormal encounters before that, and we've had people say there was a portal of hell in our basement, and we had a warlock come over and bless the house with mustard seed the whole way around. And I saw this guy in the living room with my mom with lots of candles, and I was probably about 7 years old, maybe younger. I didn't know what was going on. My mom just said that he said there was a portal to hell in our basement, and he had to bust the house and make sure they couldn't come in with mustard seed. Don't even know if that works. I'm just letting you know what I was told as a young child. And so, I mean, that was a couple years, and then it was quiet for a good couple years. Little things would happen here and there, like the door rattled really hard, like from the basement. And if you knew our basement, there was like no way to get in it. The cellar doors by then that I talked about previously, where the Dogman was standing, you couldn't use those. They were molded and moldy, and they were just old and rusty, and we just nailed them shut. So you couldn't even get in that basement except for his tiny little basement windows. I think there was 3 in the front of the house because it was lower in the front, like I explained, and how the back goes up. but it goes down where the cellar doors are, so right underneath my mom's window. And so it don't make no sense how somebody got in the basement. There's like no way. Anyway, it was like shaking the door so hard that we literally thought it was going to be shook right off its hinges. And my mom had her pistol and had me and Kayla in the bed with her. And we were only 5 years old at that time, so that's another instance. But let me get to my encounters. So it was like, I would say we were 5 then. I'd say I was about 10 when this happened. And where I lived, you had to drive a good 15, 20 minutes in either way to get to any kind of store, any kind. I mean, this is just not even a grocery store. This is just like a little gas station where you can get a little bit of milk, eggs, and bread and whatever you need, some gas.
Just and like a mom and pop's kind of store.
We went. We were going up the road, and this is what I find ironic: is every time I hear something about Dogman, I always hear something connected with a cemetery, and it brings me back to Anubis and how they said Anubis was the keeper of the underworld, and he also oversaw mummifications, all that. And I always thought Anubis was connected to Dogman. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but maybe they eat the buried is another theory of mine. Maybe they eat the freshly buried so they don't have to kill. Or maybe they bury their dead with freshly buried so that we can't find them. I have no idea. I just know I saw that video of those young girls videotaping a Dogman like vigorously and like feverishly, like just throwing this dirt out of this graveyard. I don't know if you've seen that or not, Jeff, but that was creepy. Yeah. And yeah, it just makes me think every time I hear somebody talking about Dogman, they're always digging out a I mean, they're always around the cemetery. And when we saw this thing, it was very light tan, and it reminded me of a kangaroo mixed with like the way it was like shaped. It was built like higher on top, lower on the end, like a hyena, but it wasn't marked like a hyena, but also like a mixture of a kangaroo. And it was moving so fast that it looked like a brown blur. But when he did bounce once and touch down in the middle of the road, and it was 2 lanes, and it had shoulders on both sides, not huge shoulders, but probably about 2.5 foot shoulders on either side of the road. It was a country road, but it was also a route, so it had to be somewhat larger. Yeah, he went from left to right in front of us, from the graveyard. Actually, he would have been coming from the graveyard, and it was around 12 o'clock at night, probably 1. It was late at night. I'm not really sure exact time, but I'm just guessing here. And he went from left to right, and he literally landed on the road once. And he was light brown, and I didn't know anything about Dogman. I mean, this is around early 90s, mid 90s. I don't know what Dogman was. I didn't know what that was. I called it the Delta Demon. And so that went. It wasn't anything big to me. It was just like, okay, I saw something weird, whatever, life goes on. And then I'm gonna try to put everything in order, because I was telling you about how I had girl talk. It was like a little tape recorder, and I don't know if anybody remembers these. I thought they were awesome when I was this young. You just push like play and or I don't remember how you do it. I think it's like stop and play at the same time to record back then. I don't know, but every night, me and my twin sister, we were always outside anyway before we had our encounter. This is before we were scared to feed our dogs at night and take the trash out. I don't know, it's just what we did. And we would hear this horrifying noise every night at 8 on the dot, like an alarm clock, just like clockwork coming in. It was like a mixture of, I don't even know how to explain it. It wasn't a fox. It wasn't peacocks. I mean, I lived around all these animals. I know peacocks sound crazy. I know foxes can scream like they can sound like a baby or a woman. That's not what this was. This sounded like a mixture of a pig with like snorting of a large animal with a huge lung capacity. I didn't even mention that before, because these groans and screams and whatever you want to call it, they were going on and bellowing for a good long while. And my mom didn't believe me, and it was coming every night. I know she didn't. She was like kind of laughing it off. And I was like, okay, Mom, I'll report it, because it comes every night. So me and Kayla report tomorrow night. So we went outside around 7:30, something like that. And no lie, right at 8 o'clock, it came on time. We recorded it. And we took it right inside of Mom, and I played it for her. And I don't think she was really into paranormal right before this point in time. I think she had an idea that things existed, but not quite. And because like with the shaking door, I think she blamed that on my dad and all that. But when I played this, her like jaw like dropped, and not like extremely, but like she was like, "What the hell was that?" You know? And I was like, "I told you, Mom. We told you. Like we told you we heard it." And she couldn't really deny that anymore. And then I think I got her to hear it once outside, and it's almost like whatever was doing it became aware that we were aware, that our parents were aware that it was going on, and it stopped. It just stopped. It was weird. And then I would say we were about probably 10, 11, 12 at the oldest around then. And then about 4 years later, about 4 years later, we were like 15. No, no, it was like 13 or 14. I'm sorry. It's hard to remember sometimes.
That's
I kind of try to block this out of my memory, a lot of it. Let me try to give you more detail than what I did when I wrote it in. It was my mom. I forgot to mention this. My little sister was born already. So, but she was young. I don't know how she remembers anything. She had to been, if I was 14, we were like 9 years apart. She would have been very young, like 5.
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah. And okay, so she was there. So it was me, my twin, my little sister, and Jess. And my mom was outside taking the laundry down, and her best friend Penny was outside with her. And they were taking the laundry down. I don't know if Penny was, but I know my mom was. And every once in a while, our neighbor Donald, he had the steer on his farm. It wasn't a huge farm. It was like a side thing that he did. And he had about 5 steer, nothing huge. And he would butcher them, and he would bread them. And it was horrible when you heard him butchered. I don't even want to get into that. That was horrible. But his silos, he had like small silos, not anything big like my cousin Myron has. But they were like small silos, and you could hear them fluctuate. Like, do you know what I'm talking about, Jeff? Did you ever have that happen? You had a wooden silo though, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The metal ones, like they make this big banging, popping noise when I wonder if anybody can collaborate with this. It's like when it gets cold and hot, it's like pop, but it's like deep and loud.
Yeah, like how tin or an aluminum roof will just, when it's cold or hot, it'll kind of adjust itself and make a deep echoing kind of noise.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And it wasn't that. You know what I mean? We were used to that sound. It sounded like something either ran full fledged into it, like something big. And I do remember Mom saying she heard like now that like when I recount this to you, it brings back like memories. Like I relive it because I want to give you the best details I can. And I remember her saying that she heard something. I think I have to ask her because I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I'm pretty sure she said she heard something like thud. Like she heard the thud, and then she said it sounded like someone was running. I think I have to ask her, but I'm almost 100% positive that's what she said. And that's why she ran in, because I thought she had to have seen something. I still do. Because why did she grab the gun and all the knives if she didn't see anything? I don't know. Maybe she just, the sound, and she knew it was normal. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so she runs inside. I think Penny left immediately, which is also a little suspicious to me if they didn't see anything. Like Penny was out, her best friend. And because I didn't even say bye to her. She was just gone because I was like, Mom, where's Penny? Like later on after everything slowed down. And she said she left. But so she runs inside and she's like, "Girl, shut the windows and lock it." She's like, "Shut and lock the windows right now!" And she's like screaming it. And we knew Mom screaming like that, she's not playing. Like, do it now. It's like life or death. You know, like she wasn't one to be dramatic unless it was serious. So we started running around. I got the living room windows, and I'm like freaking out, like I'm gonna see something, because I'm already scared as a child as it is. We live out there in the middle of nowhere. Our dusk till dawn light didn't work,
Right.
so when it got dark, it wasn't bright in the yard at all. So it was pitch black the whole way around the house. It sucked, and if you wanted to see, you would literally have to use your own natural night vision by turning off all the inside lights and just letting your eyes adjust. But we had all lights on in the inside, unfortunately, so we were like under a spotlight for anything that was outside. And so we were going, and I went and shut the living room windows, didn't see anything. But I wasn't trying to see anything, honestly. I was just trying to shut them and like keep my eyes down, like averted down. And I don't know, I had this feeling like something overwhelmingly was close. and I feel like there's more than one. Now, like since I'm sitting here thinking about it, I knew there was like a huge overwhelming feeling of like dread and like if I don't hurry up, like something's gonna get me, or like if I turn my back and I'm not looking, it's gonna be right behind me. That's just how I felt the whole time. Like something's after me. And even though I'm inside and it's outside, when you have all your windows open like that with no screens, like half of them don't have screens, it's terrifying. And and they're big windows. We had like a bay window in the living room, and all the windows were open. I had to shut them. I had to shut the sliding glass door, the kitchen window, the bathroom window, the bedrooms, and our room, and the playroom, and all that. And then the last room was my mom's, and she had a window fan in. And okay, let me so Kayla she like ripped the fan out as fast as she could, and she's going to yank the window down. And I'm like looking, and I see something like very dark, like darker than night. Give me a second, honey. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You could see it moving like side to side, and like his head was moving with his body like in unison, and his head was also kind of like weaving and bobbing, but not bobbing as much as it was weaving, with his body moving side to side. And excuse me. And sorry about that. And so like when he was doing that, it freaked me out because I saw him moving. I was like, Kayla, what the hell? When I talked to her later, I was like, what do you think that was about? And she's like, oh no, Casey. And it like Kayla stopped for a minute, like, and it wasn't long. It was like not even a minute. It was a split second. I think she just wanted to take in what she was seeing.
Right.
And I think we all assumed it was a Bigfoot in the beginning, because I mean we didn't know nothing about no Dogman. I think I hear this all the time too, and it's true.
Yeah, because
nobody knew in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we didn't know what Dogman was. Everybody knew what Sasquatch was. So I think a lot of people wrote off Sasquatch encounters, and now I'm going above and beyond to try to go back over Sasquatch, like even video evidence to see if it's actually a Sasquatch. Because what if it's not? But anyway, back on track. So we see this thing and it's swaying side to side, and it's like I don't know if it's because we were twins and we looked exactly the same. But it was also two of us. It was our time of month. Not to be too detailed, but I think that could have drew the Dogman in. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
blood.
It
So
happens with Sasquatch, so why not with a Dogman? Yeah.
Oh, so Sasquatch does do that?
Yeah, I've had a subscriber named Jane that shared her encounter. Yeah.
Wow. That's what mom said, and actually my mom had it too. It was me, Jess, and my mom. 3 girls out of 4 that could have it had it, and yeah, I think that drew them in because I think they can smell blood from very, very far away, almost like a shark in water. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was there, and like it didn't show any signs of aggression, nothing like that. But it just freaked me out how it was just swaying side to side, and like you could see that it was so big and so large that it took up the whole window. All you could see was the tops of its shoulders, and it was like I think it had like that like very small tips of gray on the end, like the wild hair, like wild animal hair. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it had that kind of fur. From what I remember seeing. I mean, it was so long ago, and a lot of it I blocked out. But I've been trying with your interview and the other one I did, to try to recount as much as I can because memories seem to come back as you keep talking about it. Does that happen with other people?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the more they talk about it, the more they think about it or hear.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I remember smelling anything. We also always had dogs. That we didn't have our wolf and our German Shepherd mix then, but I do believe we had Beauty. It was our Newfoundland and Chow mix, and she was a mean dog, but she was also in a kennel up in the corner of the yard, and she wasn't even barking, which was weird for her because she wouldn't even let somebody in the door. Like it, she was the best guard dog there was, but this thing, I guess, she didn't want no parts of it. Like terrified her. That's the only thing I can think of because she's always making noise if something's in her yard. So let us know. Excuse me. She didn't let us know at all. So I thought that was odd. Kayla finally managed to get the window slammed shut. I can't remember if he like backed away or if we ran. I think we just like booked it out of the room. Honestly, I don't know if we even got to lock the window. I'm pretty sure we did. But mom in the meanwhile, like she said, she was in the room too because I talked to her about it after I gave the other interview. And she said, Casey, I saw that too, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, mom. Like I just remember me seeing it and seeing Kayla. I don't remember who else was like exactly watching. I know Jess was watching, and me and Kayla. And so she said she was right there with Kayla pulling the window fan out. I don't remember that, but yeah, she probably would have more details too. I'd have to ask her. I was talking to her the other day, but anyway, so mom got all our knives that we had in the house, and we went into my bedroom. Like it was one room over from the mom's where we saw it, and we sat in a circle, tight circle, with all our backs together, holding knives and like seriously trembling, shaking like out of control. I couldn't help it, and all night long until the sun rose, and then we all passed out. We had school that day, and we did not go, not any of us. And another weird thing about that is me and Kayla, we would like sit in the middle, like when we cleaned our room as like twins, we shared our room. We would throw all the dirty stuff in the middle of the room in one big pile, and we would always like have the window wide open. It was country, fresh air, and we had beads up. Like it's just one of those things in the 90s. And it's one night. It was like probably around midnight. It was late, and where we lived, you didn't have traffic, okay, and there was no people walking up and down the roads. There was no sidewalks, nothing. It was just a one-lane road. Not even there was no line going down the middle, nothing. And I mean, for God's sakes, on Google Earth, you can't even put your little person down on the road to get a street view. And so we were sitting in our room, and we were probably about 13, 14 at this time, and we heard somebody yell our name in a very monotone voice, and I keep forgetting about this, but it was really creepy. And they said, Casey, Kayla, and they said it twice, and I knew, and I was so young, but I knew it wasn't right, and it freaked me out so bad. My stepdad was like across the road, catty corner to us at his friend Jeff's house, and they were working on some car in the garage, and my Uncle Bart lived right next door to us, my dad's brother. And then across the street was my dad's wife's mom and her brother. So and next door was Donald that bred the steer. Well, like all my family and people that cared about me was all around me, a lot of them. And I went around to every single house asking them if they called my name. I went as far as asking all my friends in school the next day if they called me and Kayla's name around 12 at night. And they said, no, 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 that wasn't us. And there was no headlights, nothing. I just thought that was odd because I know that I heard that they can imitate voices. It kind of sounded like my mom, but my mom was working, and she was actually, no, she was in a hair show in New York City. So there's no way that it was her. And I never saw anything, and it sounded like it was right outside our window, and our window was in the front. And how I explained to you in the letter, you'd have to be a good like 6.5, 7 feet to be able to pull yourself up and reach in our window. And in the back where mom's is, it's because of the cellar doors and that hill. It's like weird, but if you're standing right under mom's window, those cellar doors are literally right under her window. You'd have to straddle the cellar doors and the cement bricks that lead down to the cellar doors to stand there, or you would be standing way lower than what I was explaining to you with the 8 feet. But yeah, so you'd have to be at least 8 feet, around that 7.5, 8 feet to look in that window that he was. And his eyes were most definitely above the middle of the window where the lock is, and because I can only see the beginning of his ears going up. That's it. And what I wanted to tell you was yeah. So we heard those voices, and then this other encounter was the one I want to tell you about. It is terrifying. My little sister was here the other day, not the other day. It was like the other month, and she was sitting in my spare room with her girlfriend. And she said, Casey, do you remember that time that it was you, me, and mom, and we were outside and we saw these men jumping straight up and down in trees, like literally skipping limbs? And my heart sank to my stomach because it was like a floodgate of memories that came flooding back. And I didn't remember this at all. nothing, nothing, like zip, nada. And okay, to explain this to you the best I can, we had 3 big trees in the front. But if you look at the picture I sent you now, my Uncle Bart, he cut down like 2 of them. So there's only one big one. But if you look at that one big one, all of them were like that except for the last one out. And the last one was like thinned out some. And so there was 3 of them that I remember. Mom said they were across the street. I remember them being in our trees, but it was like, it's a messed up memory, but I try to block it out. But I do know what I saw. And I mean, who cares what trees they are? And I just know they were right in front of me.
Right.
And well, right above me, in front of me. And so there's 3 of them. I only saw 2 at first. I didn't see a third one at first, and they both were black. And I thought it was 2 men in black hoodies. And what they were doing is they were taking, like, if I can explain it right, it was big maple trees, and they're jumping from one limb up 2 limbs, and then skipping the limb up and coming right back down, and they would touch down the ground for a split second, and then bounce right back up. And they both were doing it, but they were alternating in it. It wasn't at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
The first one we haven't seen yet, and he literally like bounced from the first tree. Not bounced. He didn't even touch the ground. That's what was scary. None of them did. They were all on the first in the very beginning, from what I remember. And if it wasn't these trees, it was 3 trees across the street because they had 3 across the street too. Either way, there was the first tree where they were all at, but I couldn't see the reddish brown one yet. I could just see the black ones. I guess the reddish brown blended in a lot better. You know, it was like closer to fall. It was more around like this time, maybe a little earlier because it's still green, but the leaves are starting to change. And so I saw these 2 black ones, and they were in the middle of the tree. And then to the left, I didn't see him. I don't think I remember seeing him jump from the first tree, but I most definitely remember seeing him go very quickly from the middle tree to the last tree, and he just kind of hung out there, and really didn't do much. And he was just kind of looking at us and like kind of like hanging off a tree, I guess you would say the trunk. I don't think it was a branch. I'm pretty sure it was a trunk. And he was like kind of like just leaning back, like just chilling, and looking down at us with his head kind of tilted, from what I remember. But the black ones is what scared me because they were literally jumping like straight up, not on angles like we would to jump and like gain yardage or gain some distance.
Right.
They were jumping straight up. I don't know how that happens. Well, the only thing I can think of is with haunches, it's almost like a spring, if you think about it, with their foot and their leg. And that could give them the capability and, to jump straight up. And from what I hear, they're very acrobatic kind of, in like a way, and they can jump very high and very far distances.
Right.
And oh God. And see, that's what I thought all the encounter was until I talked to my mother. And then she said, yeah, honey, you were out there with me. And I guess my twin wasn't with us that day. And this is what I didn't remember. It's nothing real significant, but she said that I was holding her hand. And I was like, Mom, what are these men doing? I was young. I don't know how old. I have to ask her. And I'm just guessing when I tell you. It's like a roundabout guess. But she said I started squeezing her arm. And I guess I didn't realize it, but I started squeezing it tighter and tighter and tighter. I was holding on to it like hand or wrist or whatever. And I said, I looked at Mom, or I didn't even look at her. I was looking at them, I guess, the whole time, she said. And from what I remember, and I said, Mom, this is getting scary. We need to go inside right now. And she said that we like booked it, hightailed it in the house and locked the doors. And like, I don't know, to me, that was more terrifying than the first one, just because of how they were moving. I mean, it was just so unnatural.
Right.
And it was so fluid. Like for us to try to do that, or even Bigfoot, you would think they'd be a little clumsy, or a little bit more rugged or rigid is what I meant, like rigid. But these silhouettes, Mom said that they definitely had dog heads. I put that out of my head completely. She said they had dog heads. She don't remember seeing tails, but she said they had dog heads and they were all black. And she remembers the brown one too, but she don't remember it being reddish brown. I do. And I find it crazy how they were just jumping and they were skipping limbs to go up this tree. And I found that crazy. And that was my my other encounter. I don't know. It's just the way they moved. They didn't care we were there at all. And then one time my mom made these like 12 strombolis, no lie. Her saying was, if you, no, it was, if you leave my house hungry, it's your own damn fault. Excuse my language.
That's fine.
But yeah, that's what she said. She always said that. And she made 12 strombolis one night, no lie. It was cheesesteak, ham and cheese, all this other stuff. We we found two men, we thought men, sitting up in the tree. They like somehow stole two strombolis from my mom because she always had the front door open to the kitchen. Like, and there was no screen door, nothing. It was just wide open to dark night. And anything or anybody could walk in and out of the house fast, you know? And both of them took a whole stromboli and went up in that tree and ate it. And they were so high up, we couldn't even get a flashlight on them. We thought it was her friend Mark, but we couldn't see him to say it. So I can't say it was a Dogman for sure, but I just thought that was like really creepy, you know? What the hell?
Yeah.
But like, why would a person, knowing that mom would give them whatever they wanted to eat, why would they take a stromboli, steal it, and run up in the tree?
And go into
a
tree, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was weird, and so that could have been one. That could have been them too, or Sasquatch. Who knows? I just thought that was creepy as hell. Oh, this is what I'm gonna tell you. I left this out. I knew there was something I wanted to tell you. Okay, so when we the day after we had that incident, I think I wrote you about this. We went outside and took pictures of like when the Dogman was outside swaying back and forth and whatnot with the window fan. We looked outside and we literally saw these two big, huge handprints, and we had dust on the siding, like anybody would in the country. It's very dusty and dirty. I mean, like, you know, lots of dirt. And it looked like he took both his hands, or she, and placed them on either side of the window and kind of like just drug them down like 2 to 3 inches because they were elongated. You know what I mean? But then you could see where like the fingers were very, very long and narrow. And as far as I know, well, I know a diamond can scratch a mirror, but I don't know what can scratch a window like that. And it wasn't deep, but you could see it clearly. And I did take pictures. I don't know. And it was on a wind up camera. I have no idea where that roll is. We had like huge, like 3 cups in this cabinet with a bunch of rolls, and I have no idea. And another thing that was weird is back in the woods, we used to go sledding down this huge hill, and it was like a perfect sledding hill. And like there was this one tree, and we didn't have many bears if any bears spotted around there. Like it would be once in a blue moon, like one every 10 years, if that. And there was like these 4 or 5 scratches. I think it was 4, and they're high up in the tree. And mom's like, "Oh, look, girls, I think Bigfoot scratched a tree, but I don't think Bigfoot has claws like that, does he?"
Yeah, well, from what I've heard, yeah, they have claws because they've got but I don't know if they're like a dog man's claws. I don't think they are, but yeah, I've heard they've got claws. I mean, they don't trim their fingers, so.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what that was. I just thought that was weird. And what's weird is I found the same thing down here at my house in Maryland. And I also heard that trademark for Dogman is that they'll rip bark off of the trees a lot and scratch them. I have that on both my trees.
Yeah,
What's that?
They usually claw mark a tree. I had a subscriber in
That's
upstate
crazy.
New York by Canada, by the Canadian border, and he had a Dogman encounter when he was young, and then he was a logger, and he's living in his house with his family, and he saw claw marks on the tree. There was a deer in the tree, fully or not dressed deer, just an undressed deer, like 40 feet up a tree. No animal could haul a deer up that was not dressed. You know, it still had all its insides. And then it was throwing rocks at him in his house. He thought it was a Sasquatch at first until he saw the claw marks on the tree, and then he had seen 2 or 3 dogmen out in the woods.
Wow, that is scary. I heard the story about the one. Yeah, was that Chris? That was him, right? With the I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about that now. I'll save it for another time. But with the Dogman or the Bigfoot, they didn't. You weren't sure which, but they were yes, it was a lady with her husband that threw her down the steps. Yeah. And the Dogman. I mean, the Bigfoot Dogman was throwing rocks back at him
Yeah, the
because he was
second
throwing
time.
rocks at
The
him.
second time, yeah, they couldn't see it. They saw the Dogman the first time, but they didn't see
Yes,
what was throwing the rocks the second time. Yeah.
that man most definitely saw something, or
Yeah.
he wouldn't have reacted like that.
As a
That's what I
child
think.
or whatnot, yeah, he definitely had some sort of, but still
Encounter.
doesn't mean he needs to throw his wife at the Dogman. He's a
No,
piece
I
of
don't care how
garbage.
much experience she has in with dogs. That's not
Yeah.
a dog, buddy. That's
Yep.
not a regular dog.
Yep.
Jeez, I'm glad she got remarried. That was the best thing she could have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
don't know what he went through either, but you know.
right. So that I mean, yeah, the ones bouncing up in the tree is absolutely terrifying, and
Isn't it?
for you guys
God.
to remember it, and then your mom to say, yeah, had a dog like head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's terrifying. The first one that you shared with me that I narrated, I actually, when I was reading it, I was just like, that's crazy. You guys are running literally around the house,
Mm-hmm.
praying to God that these things don't come through your window and get in your
Yeah.
house. It was terrifying.
Oh, that's what I want to tell you. Can I tell you something real quick
Sure.
that I thought was okay? So I thought this was my ex-boyfriend. He was not strong enough. I'm sorry. He was young and a weakling. And where my window was, you'd have to be strong enough to grab it, my windowsill by with one hand and pull up, and then bang with your other hand that's free on my window ferociously, like hard, and go around and hit my whole perimeter of my house as loud as you could with, I don't know, for him it would have to be, I don't know, a huge baseball bat or a huge shovel.
Right.
And okay, so we thought it was that my mom was at work or she was at the hair show still. I don't even know. It was around that time. She goes to hair shows a lot in New York. But so me and my twin were home. I don't think Katrina, if she was born, she might have been with my grandparents. I don't remember. I just remember me and my twin sister being there. And we were sitting in our room and we heard somebody on the windowsill. It was like a crunching kind of sound of like your siding, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like if you grab your siding, you can hear it kind of, and I heard that like being pulled down on my windowsill. I could feel it. I could hear it. Like I'm not feel it. I could hear it like somebody grabbing it. You know what I mean? And then next thing I know, they had to have done. It looked like. I mean, I could see. I think. I mean, maybe it's false memories being planted in my head to help me fill in the gaps. But I think I remember seeing somebody pull themselves up or something, and then use their other hand in a fist and bang on the window like hard. And me and Kayla started screaming. We ran into this hallway. We had this hallway that was long in the very center of the house that ran from the front door to the back bedroom to my mom's bedroom where that dog man was swaying back and forth. And we sat like by the bathroom in the very middle of from the very center of the front and the back of the house. And it's where we felt the safest. So we sat with our knees to our chest. And it was, or he or whatever was running around the house. And it was like three of them at least running around the house very fast, banging on the walls, the windows, everything. And I called my Uncle Bart. He never told me, now that I think about it, he never said it was my friend Ryan, my ex Ryan, or my friend Wilson. I assumed it was them because I broke up with them. Right. Okay? And he just said we got rid of what was out there. He didn't say them.
Yeah.
He didn't say those boys.
He said what? What was out there, right?
Well, he actually is a paramedic. Is that what you just said?
No, I'm saying your uncle, he said we got rid of what was out there? Is that what
he said? He said we got rid of what was out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I was like,
if you think about it, you've got this one encounter in the beginning with this dogman that's looking in your house. Then you see 3 dogmen bouncing in a tree or jumping up and down in a tree.
Right.
And then you just said you've got 3 people running around your house.
Yeah, at least 3. Yeah.
So that only tells me that it's the same dogmen that are.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that. That's all I was saying. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah. We're coming up on time right now.
Okay.
Do me a favor. Don't hang up before after the interview. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we end the interview?
Yeah. To everybody out there, If you have any information or if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask Jeff or anybody that I mean, Jeff knows the honest people in this field, and I mean, you really, if I mean, he helped me a lot with some information that I had no clue on, and helped me verify things that I doubted myself on. And just don't be afraid to talk to somebody about it, because I always think I'm crazy when I'm seeing like something, or I'm taking like photography or videos. Like if you believe like you're seeing something, please tell somebody, because holding it in, it just hurts you. And there's so many people out here that believe you and want to be there for you and help you through this. So
Absolutely.
just reach out.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure having you on. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Jeff. Anytime.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, honey. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.